Investigation and the NAACP both looking into an incident Saturday when a Waycross police officer fired shots at a vehicle that had been carrying children, and they tased a 15-year-old. Georgia state agents have now released the names of the two officers involved and say one officer followed the teens for several minutes without putting on his siren. A second officer who responded to the scene fired the shots.
News 4 Jax I-Team investigator Kelly Wiley is joining us live from Waycross with an interview with the 15-year-old who was in the passenger seat of the car. Kelly.
Right, these teenagers were really close to home. They were right about here on this dirt road when they let their siblings out of the car. And then just look this way. They were less than a minute away from their house, right about where that basketball hoop is.
They're my kids, man. That's my child, man.
Today, a 16-year-old is behind bars and two Georgia officers are on administrative leave. It comes days after a Waycross police officer fired gunshots at the 16-year-old and his 15-year-old brother during a traffic stop.
Those are children, man. Those are children, man.
According to the GBI report, on Saturday, Waycross officer Jesse Shook was attempting to run the license plate on the teen's car when he followed them and their younger siblings into their neighborhood. The officer did not activate his sirens or blue emergency lights, according to GBI. Within yards of their home, the 16-year-old driver stopped and his three younger siblings ran out of the car, according to the GBI. His 15-year-old brother, Kamar Boyd, who was in the passenger seat of the car, says he and his older brother told their younger siblings to get out.
Because I know how these folks is. He already had his gun out before we was already out, before we even got a chance to stop the car. He had his gun out pointed at us. So I'm like, my little brothers and sisters in here, I gotta get them out the car.
According to the GBI, by that time, a second officer had arrived. Police report states the first officer followed their younger siblings, and the second officer, Lieutenant Scott Rowell, approached the vehicle with Kamar and his older brother inside. According to the GBI, the teen's car drove at Lieutenant Rowell. Kamar denies that. That's when investigators say Lieutenant Rowell reportedly fired his gun several times at the teens.
He was back here, then he came right here in the car, we was driving off, but we wasn't driving off slowly. We was driving get away, so he could follow us and not follow my little sisters and them. And then next thing you know, he fired at the gas tank and it just went rolling that way. And we got out right here. We got out while I was rolling. Got our hands up. He's steady. Y'all don't get on the ground, we're gonna shoot.
According to GBI, neither of the teenagers were hit by the gunfire and both got out of the car. Investigators say during the attempt to detain them, Officer Shook tased one of the kids.
He told me, he was like, put your hands up. So I put my hands up. Me and my brother put our hands up. Then next thing you know, he came, hit me in my eye with the gun. Then the other officer came up, tased me on my back.
Cell phone video filmed by the teen's father shows them laying on the ground while their parents plead for cops to stop. And both teens are charged with various crimes, including running a red light, an assault on an officer, possession of a gun by a minor. The 16-year-old is expected to be in juvenile court tomorrow, according to his family. The 15-year-old was released to his parents over the weekend. Now, according to the GBI, once this investigation is wrapped up, the case file will go to the Ware County District Attorney. And you'll remember the Ware County District Attorney came under a lot of fire and is also under investigation for his handling of the Ahmaud Arbery death investigation.
The Black Detour is an independent media outlet that